I have the pleasure of inviting Talina Shrotriya, who's a Senior Engineering Manager for their platform team at Couchbase. Welcome.
Hi, thanks, John. Very nice to meet you.
So first of all, let's just kind of get right into it with Couchbase. So what is Couchbase? I've heard of it. I've seen it out in marketplaces, but I haven't used it myself.
So Couchbase is a NoSQL database where most of our documents are stored as JSON formatted documents. So that means you don't have to adhere to strict schemas, and it's very extensible. We are also a cloud-first, fully managed DBaaS product that's built on Couchbase, and that's called Couchbase Capella.
Okay.
We also offer some of the differentiations at Couchbase, where we support Agentic AI applications today, and also extensible and large workloads at the edge. That means we have an offering where you can just use an embedded database in your mobile application, and that will run very seamlessly at the edge, and it will sync to the main database, and it gives you a complete full offline support for your documents. And it always serves highly available reads and writes.
Fantastic. So let's come back to that in a second, but I'm curious about, there's a number of NoSQL variants out there in the world. Like, why would I choose Couchbase over some of the others? Like, what's my use case or the thing that makes it really unique?
So I think the one thing that sets Couchbase apart is the in-memory KV store and the KV engine that we have built, which is extremely fast, and it will serve for most of your caching needs. You can even use it as a persistent cache if you want to. We also have a SQL++, which is a language that's built on top of Couchbase. This language was built with the inventor of SQL, Don Chamberlain, and it was fine-tuned for Couchbase. The core capabilities of SQL++ are to basically serve unstructured JSON formatted documents, indexed, and at a very fast speed. And that's the powerhouse, I would say, at Couchbase.
I'm kind of an old school SQL guy. I actually started with Oracle and things way back in the day. So I think in those terms, in relational databases.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges I've had kind of developing with NoSQL data stores is the level of or lack of sophistication in my ability to do querying. Are you saying that Couchbase has sort of an extra layer on top that I wouldn't find in other NoSQL data stores that might actually solve some of that for me?
Yeah, I think we make SQL writing very easy.
Okay.
As I mentioned, there's a cloud offering called Couchbase Capella. And as part of the cloud offering, we give you something called as Couchbase IQ, which allows you to leverage AI to write the SQL queries.
From my point of view, I'm writing SQL queries, but it's really against a document style database.
Exactly,
Got
yeah.
it. Okay.
You can just write it in natural language that, hey, fetch me the top 5 documents for the best hotels in London, and it'll give you the result.
And I can do that through a CLI or an API.
Yes, or even a UI, just typing it in,
Okay.
like ChatGPT.
Awesome, great. And then you mentioned that it has in-memory data store capability. So if I'm creating a mobile app, say a mobile native app, I could embed Couchbase as my local data store there.
Yes.
My application sees it local,
Yes.
but it's synced to the cloud. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
It simplifies that management
Yes.
from the perspective of the sort of applications.
Exactly. So in situations or use cases where you won't have connectivity with the internet or
Right.
with the main database, the embedded database sits in your mobile app or in your IoT device, and it syncs, you can write and read in the context of that device. And once the network connectivity comes back, it syncs all the data to the main database, which is located somewhere in cloud.
Got it. And if you're always online, does it give it kind of live sync as well? So it gets
Yes,
pushed.
it's always live synced when connectivity is always around.
All right, very cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it's ideal for use cases like agentic applications.
Yes.
Could you take a minute and kind of unpack that with us?
Definitely. And I'm really excited about this new offering that we have. It's called AI Services in Capella. We went live, we did a small private preview with some of our customers back in Jan this year. As part of that offering, we're able to securely host language models in the cloud. And these are so secure that any data that gets transitioned over to your language model for inferencing, it stays in the perimeter of the virtual private network. It doesn't leave and it doesn't go over the internet. On top of this, what we've built is a capability to provide an extensive agentic AI catalog, which you can leverage just within the SDK that we provide to write your agentic AI applications.
Okay. I've heard a lot about agents, but I think still a lot of folks aren't really grounded in like maybe like why, like some ideas for how I might use this. Do you have a couple examples of some kind of AI agent workflows that would be really enabled by this?
Oh, I can give you a few. Imagine that you have a product catalog. Let's take Amazon as an example. We see a lot of products on the Amazon website, and there are a bunch of reviews on every product. You can use Couchbase to store all of this information as your database.
Okay.
On top of this, we have something called as a vector search,
Yep.
which embeds these documents automatically. Once you generate the embeddings, you can now use out-of-the-box SQL querying. And as part of the SQL query, you can use something called as an AI function, which says, hey, please fetch me the top 5 products where you summarize the reviews or the ratings automatically, and then give me the reviews wherever the sentiment is positive, order by the sentiment of those reviews.
Okay.
So at that point, what Couchbase does is it fetches all the reviews, it sends the data to the privately hosted LLM to generate sentiment analysis, and then it will give you the list of top 5 products that have the best sentiment or the best product review.
When you say privately hosted LLM, this is something that Couchbase operates as a kind of SaaS solution to all its
Yes.
users? Okay, so
That's exactly.
I'm not having to run the LLM in my own AWS stack.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll run it in a sense that where we care about the security and the compliance, where it's in a secure sandbox environment, but we also will focus on reducing the TCO for you as the customer.
Awesome, awesome. So it also sounds like a great service for the kind of, call it the mildly technical
Yes.
entrepreneur, right?
Yeah.
Somebody who's got an idea using maybe some of these vibe coding tools to create a user experience, but now they need a very powerful kind of data store behind the scenes, and they're certainly not SQL experts.
Yes.
They're probably not data engineers.
Yeah.
But they could engage your product, sounds like, in a fairly accessible way.
Yeah. I think the goal is to
Am I
reduce.
oversimplifying this, or?
No, I think that's absolutely right. I think the goal for that, why we built Couchbase, and the goal why we built it is to ensure that we don't have to, where people don't have to learn and gain the expertise to use Couchbase, to simplify the experience and to just actually reap the benefits of the core database engine.
Got it. So they could just light it up from their couch.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. So awesome. Well, I'd like to kind of maybe, you've now made me very curious, and probably I'm going to waste a lot of time this weekend actually getting my hands on this.
Amazing.
And I'm really looking forward to the demo you're going to share with us later today. But I'm curious about, where did Couchbase come from, right? It was an open source offering, I think, once upon a time.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that evolution?
Definitely. And the talk later where Steve is going to mention about his experience starting this company is really crucial to know about how Couchbase started. Couchbase started as an open source database. It was actually a merger of 2 companies, one which had a strong KV engine and the other one was called Couch One. So that's where Couchbase started. We've been very intentional to retain our roots of open source as we transitioned from an open source to an open core platform. During this transition, we ensured that the licensing and open source for Couchbase was retained, but we just layered in some of the orchestration and operational functionalities, like provisioning multi-cloud orchestration for the database, managing the observability, the workload monitoring, and many such capabilities in cloud. And that's what Capella is all about.
Got it. So you're saying I could actually try to run this myself if I wanted to.
Yes.
Except it sounds like there's some layers that Capella brings to the table that are in addition to the open core offering. Is that right?
That's right. Even in Capella, we've made sure that we take care of the developer first experience. So if you don't want to run Couchbase as a standalone database, you can go onto Capella, sign up, and actually use a perpetually free tier offering that we have, where you can spin up the database and continuously use it for your, if you're writing a new agentic app, you can do that.
Okay, now I'm really gonna waste my weekend hanging out with Couchbase. Awesome. Um, Tell me a little bit more. I'm a senior solutions architect here at AWS, as you know, and so I am a little more capable than the mildly technical entrepreneur. And I'm curious about the stack behind the scenes a little bit, and how, if I'm building on AWS, and obviously I want to offboard some of that heavy lifting, I don't want to run Couchbase myself. Like, how do I think about it in the mix of my whole stack? Like, how do I
Mm,
acquire it? How do I interface with it? Is it in my VPC? Is it in my region?
mhm.
Any concerns about, compliance issues or anything like that?
Amazing. And I'll briefly mention the journey of building this DBaaS product in my talk. When we started off, we built it in such a way that you can bring your own infrastructure, and we'll provide the database management layer with Kubernetes. But
So
we
you put a
soon,
pod in my environment? Is that
yeah, that
okay?
was how we started.
Okay,
We soon realized, though, that we can still stay compliant while managing the infrastructure on your behalf. So we pivoted to a generation 2 architecture, which was a fully managed database as a service offering. And in that, what happens is we provision and manage AWS accounts on your behalf. And
so
it
I have the
is,
account I already have, and I'm standing in my Lambdas and whatever,
so,
and now
yeah,
there's another AWS account that I bridge to.
yes.
Okay,
So you can have your applications running in your own AWS account, and you just deploy a database with us in our AWS account, and you can connect to the database across AWS accounts via public internet or private internet.
got it. Okay. So, and then you manage that AWS account on my behalf, or is it pooled with other customers?
It's completely isolated for a single customer, and that's where we provide tight security and compliance.
Fantastic. I hope everybody understands that piece, because that's
Yes.
really important. So, awesome. Um, you know, I think you've certainly like teased out a lot of like curiosity in me, right? So, but I think where I'd want to kind of leave us off at is like, when should I consider Couchbase? Is it affordable for me as a solo entrepreneur? Should I bring it in once I get that seed funding? How should I think about it where I introduce it in my thought process?
That's a great question. While you're building your own product from the ground up, some of the core engineering decisions that you take early on really catapult you to success as a company. And I think Couchbase is built for scale. It's actually built for large scale enterprise companies. So if that's your goal, you should select Couchbase from day zero.
Okay. And should I go to the AWS Marketplace for that, or to your website directly? What's the
You
best
can
way to acquire
directly go
that?
to cloud.couchbase.com and
Okay.
sign up as a
Okay.
free tier user and continue to use it for free until you decide to jump on the paid offering.
Got it. And then the paid offering, I can switch to the marketplace.
Yes.
Okay, great. And but still continue on with the development
Yes,
and
it's totally, it's very tightly integrated with some of the AWS core technologies and offerings. We use private endpoints, for example, to talk to the database across AWS accounts. And that's, I think, a very key offering that we have.
awesome. Great. So, well, I want to thank you for your time today
Yes.
and sharing like something very new and interesting to me.